Hi, Pisces. There's a reason. Of course there's a reason. There's never not a reason. I feel like I've been Saturn retrograde incarnate in so many people's lives. The truth won't stop. And now, all of a sudden, Pisces, you realize exactly what role you play in people's lives. My God, you have been so mistaken, especially in terms of wealth. How people think of you in terms of wealth, their wealth, your wealth. My God, some of you have just realized that money is the motivating factor for the person that you're in love with. Saturn retrograde is dealing out truths in the most blunt way. It is like a bull with horns. It wants to tell you straight. And it's very black and white. Things are right or they're wrong. The gray area has disappeared. So, considering that long-term relationships, especially marriages, require enormous effort, it's difficult to carry on with someone when you know that your position in their life is not what you thought it was. It's also difficult to carry on in a relationship when you have to actively reassess and reassign responsibilities, because suddenly everything has like a pack animal fallen on your shoulders, and you realize that the only thing that you can count on are, especially financially, the endeavors that you have planted on your own. For a lot of you, you're realizing financially you're the breadwinner or you're not getting any help from your romantic partner. Some of you are even realizing that your romantic partner has invested in you as the commodity. I think you need to tell them to take on more responsibility, and I don't know if you know how to do that without making them feel unloved, because you've groomed them to feel that love is not having to do anything, and that you will do all the emotional labor, and if you can get away with it, all the financial labor as well. And yet you may find this person more distant from you, even though you are willing to do all the emotional labor. You may find them taking more and more distance, just moving away from you. And it doesn't make sense because, again, you're doing all the heavy lifting. When the honeymoon stage is over, when chemistry dies down, when the newness and excitement of a relationship, a marriage, having a child dies down, as beautiful, mashallah, as those things are, we are still left to confront ourselves and our partners and know them as they truly are. So yes, the honeymoon stage may be over, but that doesn't mean that it has to be problematic moving forward. You just may have practical differences showing up between partners that in the honeymoon phase felt a bit lacking a bit of romance to talk about. It wasn't appropriate. But now, as we settle into real life, and we're thinking about finances and caliber and the future, it's very possible for you to feel betrayed by somebody because they're turning out to be more human than you were led to believe. So as our masks start to slip, as we spend a few months getting comfortable in a relationship, for some of us we can wear this mask for years. But as that mask starts to slip, and whether it takes us weeks or months or years to have that mask slip, Saturn retrograde has come along and said, actually, we're just going to do this now. Like a Band-Aid, easy. We just have to do this. We just have to get it done. Sorry. And you are keenly aware by the end of July that it is your emotional load to carry, and that if you want to continue this relationship, you have now been given all the real world instances throughout, from mid-July to mid-August. You have been given every instance that you need to check the boxes of, yeah, this person is not emotionally careful with me. They're not considerate with me. They're not wanting me for me. They're wanting what I can be for them. You see this person becoming more and more about money. You see them becoming more and more about themselves. You're trying to understand the practical differences between the two of you. You're trying to be a practical person and not just let the loss of romance get you all the way down. You're trying very hard to be someone who needs love, but doesn't want to bring up the hurt of the past. You know, you're trying to communicate the imbalance in the relationship, but it feels like it just comes off as you being in a position of power and punching down. It's like you're not allowed to have worries or hurts because you're the person who has more in so many ways, not just in terms of finances, although this is very geared for finances. So also in mid-July, we have this need from said established partner, or even someone that you're just messing with, where they want you to acknowledge them. It doesn't mean that you have to acknowledge them publicly or go on Insta or make a post about them. Acknowledge the things that they do, because they're trying to show you that the depth of their love is, ever growing. They're deepening in their love for you. They're trying, and in their own mind, they may be speeding up what they hope will be a process that will bring you to love, So if you find that some of your partners are being like really cloying and just won't leave you alone, and they want to do everything with you, and they're being super, super nice, and you're wondering what it is, it's because they're trying to reset you. But I think what you need is clarification. I think you need some clarification in terms of what you really want. I think you should give whomever you're having a hard time with some room so they can clarify what they want and how they feel. I think it's important to take space when you can't see what someone is doing for you anymore, because usually they're still doing it, you just can't see it anymore. So we put up these blinders, and we're immune to the efforts of those whom we feel are somehow below us, like they owe us that devotion or that faithfulness, whatever it is, those actions, that consideration. And Pisces walk a fine line, or swim a fine line, between having enormous power and wielding it justly, and having enormous power and being just the worst of the worst. A Piscean having power is really terrifying, because it is in your nature to press or like kick the guy who's already down, which sounds really shitty, but it's very much part of that kind of primordial soup, vengeful part of you somewhere. It lives in you. It's very active in you, actually. And sometimes it comes out here and there, and we see it, and we're like, ooh, I would never want you to have any sort of say over me, or God knows what you'd behave like if you had some control over me or some modicum of say of what happens in my life. That's truly terrifying. So there's a little truth for you. Okay, now, oh my God, this is all about people who are in relationships. What about the rest of us? Okay. From now until the middle of August, you are super attractive. I mean, drop dead gorgeous. Your skin is looking beautiful. Your hair is looking beautiful, even if you don't think so. Your body's looking beautiful, even if you don't think so. You're charming. You're smart. You're outside. You're meeting people in the most organic ways because you're just going about your life and doing stuff. You just happen to be absolutely stunning. So it's an everyday, casual, glam kind of thing. And what it does is it puts you in the path for opportunities to find you. But you want to approach these opportunities, be it on the golf course or in the supermarket. You want to approach these opportunities prepared, baby. You want to get prepared. You want to get that Virgo mind across from you working with your Piscean watery heart. And you got to prep this. This is like, you know, doing your lashes so that you look like you're wearing no lashes. This is doing your makeup so you look like you woke up like that. This is, you know, you're wearing a sweatshirt and jeans, but you look incredible. Like, this is everyday life, and you in your everyday life just looking so simple and so beautiful that opportunities that are looking to find you anyway find you in such a state of not just beauty but ease that they're compelled to give you things. They're compelled to make that deal. They're compelled to offer you that thing. They're compelled to collaborate with you. They're compelled to ask you out. And all you really need to do is understand the nature of Leo season to really get this right. You know, Leo season is about celebration. It's celebration of self, but it's also the celebration of an ideal. There is a deep truth to the Leo character and to the season, you know, so we're going to be seeing a lot of beauty, but also a lot of really uncomfortable truth being delivered also by you. You are also one of those purveyors of that Saturn retrograde. Obviously, it's in your sign. My goodness, if your tongue has been sharp, yes, here it is. And sometimes it's been so sharp, and then it's even sharper than that. And then when you think, okay, it can't get any worse, then it's even sharper than that. The only way I can keep you from being that shot of truth that everybody needs is by reminding you that you are working for something and that you have always been working towards something. You are not in stasis. You are not stagnant. Your vision has to look past whatever is going right now. Whatever is going on. You have to weigh whatever you want to say and how mean it's going to be or how awful it's going to be against the backdrop of money, the connections you can make, the money you can bring into your family, the abundance and ease and coolness of mind that you can have yourself. Yeah. Take a little space just from everything, if you haven't already. And now let me speak to anyone who is currently trying to woo a Pisces or would want this Pisces to call them back or would want this Pisces to love them more, pay attention to them more. if you go through periods as a partner of a Piscean or someone who loves them where you really deeply feel like they don't know who they are, it's not that you're wrong. It's just that they're living a multitude of experiences at once, and sometimes you may come across a personality you don't know. So it's not that they don't know, it's that they work from such an instinctual place that they don't have to know. Now, how does that work for you or against you? Well, it works for you because sometimes you don't do anything and you ass backwards fall into some great luck. And then sometimes, because they're just super interested in you. And sometimes it really works against you because they find it indicative of your character. So right now, what Pisceans are looking for more than anything is some constructive help on the situations they find themselves in. Pisceans are surrounded by the consequences of their choices right now. And I don't mean that to be as dire as it sounds, but those choices all have an emotional component, of course, and the best way for you to have any impact on a Piscean's life right now is to be there with them when they have those reactive moments, when when the consequences of their actions come calling, and they have to talk this out with someone and commiserate with someone. If you're really interested in a Pisces, I don't know, it just keeps ringing in my head that Rihanna song, Work, where she says, like, nobody texts me in a crisis. Like, this is not just for July. This is not just for, right now. The best way to win over a Pisces as a friend, a lover, what have you, is to consider them and to be there. And to be there in a way where they feel no pressure. You don't want anything from them for this. This is not transactional. Whenever Pisces feel that things have become transactional, they seem to pull away because it deeply hurts their feelings that things would not be based on the emotion. So, with everything that they're going through, if you can hold their hand, if you can be a good friend, if you can get them out of their head for a few hours and take them out, you have a pretty good chance of them falling in love with you. But mostly what's going on with Pisceans partners, or the ones that are interested in them, is that it's gone to their head. They think because this Pisces likes them, now they're the shit and they're the focus of everything. And it's very hurtful to Pisces at large, because it's not hard to see that you've taken my energy and are now using it to be, out here. So now I know where I stand in your life. The same thing, and now I'm just talking to you, Pisces, the same thing is going on in terms of familial relationships, friend groups. Everyone is realizing who they are in the group. And everyone who never knew how the others thought of them is realizing what's always been the case. And in a lot of ways, it's really heartbreaking. But, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, it's just so much easier to know. So, you figure out where you stand, and what's left to talk about? Your self-concept. When we talk about career and money, we're going to talk about Pluto, and we're going to talk about self-concept. So we have about 4 or 5 pages left. Okay, I'm going to show you these cards as a preview for the extended. The extended is available below as a single purchase on Patreon, as a subscription on Patreon, on Vimeo, and as a PayPal link. You can also find a link below for personal readings. They look something like this, or you can request a view of the cards. Oh, July 20th. There's a fair in New York at the Halloween store, and I'm going to be doing readings there, so you can just come by and hang out if you want. There'll be information below. Love you. Hi Pisces, welcome to your welcome to the preview for your extended. So let's talk a little bit more about this Mars transiting Taurus until the 20th of July. So, in terms of finances, from the 14th to the 17th, your luck skyrockets. Just an unexpected windfall is possible. So, in terms of getting out there and seizing the day, one of the things that you have to keep in mind is that as all these opportunities come to you, as you stumble backwards into great luck, the people around you will start to show themselves more and more, as we talked about earlier, not only for who they are, not only for what place you play, what part you play in their life, but also the truth of the vanity of your actions will be revealed. How many things did you do out of kindness and conscience get thrown back in your face as being meaningless, worthless? How much of what you know you did for the right reasons is mocked and made to seem at best trivial and at worst somehow calculated, opportunistic. So that Mars-Uranus conjunction, it can bring things to life, but it also arouses everybody's jealousy about your joy, your success, your swing back up on that pendulum. And for some of you, here we're still talking about love, that swing back up on the pendulum is taken personally by someone close to you, as if your success, and in some cases just enthusiasm, the success hasn't even arrived yet, but of course inshallah it will, where there is enthusiasm, success will follow. It might just be your enthusiasm alone, but in most cases the realized success that you're experiencing, and you can feel the continuation of this success coming, that in and of itself feels to someone close to you like a betrayal. And if you find yourself at all playing it small, playing it down, playing it small, playing it safe, know that it's not because that's how you want it. It's because you're trying to not betray someone who's seeing things that way. And ultimately, that's a relationship that you have to re-examine at the end of July and into Leo season. That becomes a very important conversation, very deep. Things can get hurtful, but also final. There's a finality to these sort of realizations. So this is serious stuff. Of course it's serious. But, the cursory read would be, yeah, a lot of success, windfall, money, unexpected success, the reigniting of an old flame in terms of some business idea you were really passionate about, a project you wanted to work on suddenly can come back to life. But along with that, there's this emotional component that I think personally is much more important and much more difficult to navigate. And that's having that success and having this sort of unbounded luck, mashallah. And how to move with that in the world of other people. Because that's not happening in a vacuum, it's happening around your world. And how does your world respond to it? Most of your world is not too jazzed about this. And that's concerning, but you feel it. I don't have to say it. I'm saying it out loud, but you can feel it on your own. Is it stopping your joy? No, not at all. It's actually making you kind of, lean into your joy more. Like, oh, okay. If this makes you upset, maybe I should do it more. I'm just trying to be happy. I'm just trying to be me. I'm just trying to be myself. But if you're with someone, and this is especially true of someone who controls you with their moodiness, if you're with someone who doesn't like you to shine in that way that Pisces shines, like this childlike sort of, like when you see like an amazing, wonderful little child and they're doing whatever they're doing and you're like, oh my God, and everyone's just like staring at them. It's like that awe of like a child. That's the kind of attention that you guys get because you're very immediate, you're very in the moment. Everything is happening now. You're feeling things now. You're saying things now. You're thinking things now. That does create a very innocent, childlike person, so you have that appeal. And for anyone to want you to play that down at all mainly doesn't understand you, but also, and this is very real, is going to stand in your way financially. In this economy, Okay, that's your preview. We're going to do the rest of the extended right now. Love you.